This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I am your host, cover everything sport, international and local. Shout out to everyone who is tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or if you're chilling at home, watching us live on YouTube. Thank you very much for connecting with me on the hour. Man. You know when you punch above your weight on this show, you know. I'm so happy that I got this next guest on. I've been scouting this guy, even though it's not even my sport. I've been scouting this guy for a minute. And he's here on the show today. Gaafar Elsouri is here on the show. And I can't wait to share this interview with you. And we are kicking off on this hour on the only place to be at 3. Gaafar himself is a basketball player. He's an ambassador. He's an athlete. And you know what I love about the guy? He practices what he preaches. And you guys are going to be here with us on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. And you know what? We're in a good mood here today in the studio on Pulse 95 Radio in the heart of Sharjah with your boy Omar Adori on Pulse 95. And I have a great guest for you guys today.
What?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. Gaafar Elsouri is here. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt when I saw it earlier, and he is here in the studio. Welcome, my man, Gaafar.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. Wow, I think I made it. This is it.
Listen, I've been following your progress and a lot of the stuff you've been doing, man, for a while, actually.
Okay.
And
honored.
it's my honor, actually, and I'm so happy you can make it on the show. I mean, there's a lot of things you do, man, apart from practicing what you preach, which, by the way, people might think should be the average, but as we know in the fitness industry, it doesn't always become that. Basketball, mental health, physical health, emotional intelligence. I mean, there's so much we can talk about, but seeing that we're starting with the industry that you're in, what is fitness and well-being?
To me, it's literally point of like it's a way of life. How could you not be fit? What is if we break it down? What is fitness? Fitness is being able to carry on daily through whatever it is that you're doing and living your best possible life. Now, yes, we are consciousness, we are a spirit. However, we do inhabit a body. So therefore, if your spirit is going to be fit, it should reflect that within your body as well. Because this is your home. This is the only place you get to live in. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Fitness to me is about enjoying what you are given. Now we're in an age where everybody's talking about gratitude and being grateful and all that stuff. And it's one thing for you to sit at home on a couch, watch TV and go, oh, I'm grateful for my health.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, the universe, or God or whatever it is that you want to believe in is going to look at you and say, well, I gave you bones and muscles and did you move them? You want to be grateful for them? Move them. Use them. Enjoy them. Explore what you could possibly do. That's what fitness is to me, to be honest with you.
And when you choose to be part of the fitness world and the fitness industry and be active, now not active just in the sense of being active on social media or being active on Nike ambassador, there's so many things, mashallah, you're doing, which is fantastic.
I appreciate it.
How do you stay active and how do you block out the noise?
To be honest with you, I've been doing this for so long as an athlete.
Yeah.
I learned that the path that I chose was just a little bit different than most of the people. I fell in love with movement. So for me, it's whether there's Instagram or there's no Instagram, I'm still going to be doing what I'm doing. And that to me is a way of living in the moment. So when it comes to staying active, it's not something I do. It's the only way I know how to exist. And I appreciate, being in the element all the time. This is how I live out my life. When it comes to the industry, though, there's a lot going on.
If you're seeing him on Instagram, you're seeing a big smile on his face.
I don't know if I agree with all of it, but to each their own. And I look I look at it as I am truly blessed to be able to move. And that came to me at a full circle before my mom had passed away. She was in the ICU unit. And, you know, a lot of times we will get deflated in life and for whatever reason. And I remember walking through the ICU room. The way people were looking at me, it just felt like they were looking at me and they said, I wish I had all your problems times 10, but get me out this bed. And I remember I went back home that day and I just sat there and I went, man, if I have nothing on this planet, I just want to be able to run and jump and just move. And that to me like became a very loud, I want to say, slap in the face for taking things for granted. And it really switched things in my head.
It's interesting. You mentioned movement earlier. If movement is medication, what's the right dosage?
All the time.
Yeah. Is there any such thing as too much?
No.
Okay.
I mean, imagine, I keep thinking about this, and I actually had a conversation about this with one of my clients. And I said, imagine if when you were born, you needed to take a rest day from growing. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're just not going to grow today.
Yeah.
We're doing nothing. Like, everything is just going to atrophy for a while.
Yeah.
It's not normal. For me, there are, ideologies and schools of thought when it comes to, you need to have a recovery or rest for a day, or sure. I mean, it could be right. I'm not entirely sure. However, I'm pretty sure that thought process came from bodybuilding being the only window to fitness. And I understand they train in a certain way to grow their muscles in a certain way.
Yeah.
They do 1, 2, and 3, and then they can't do this muscle group on this day because it counterfeits what they're trying to do, which is stand on a stage and look flawless. Now, their goal is completely different than you. You, as someone who's active, an athlete, you can definitely move every day. And you should move every day.
Yeah.
1, it's therapeutic. 2, if we're going to incorporate, the new world now or the new thoughts in the world are going towards spirituality and negative energy and positive energy. It cleanses you from your negative energy. If you're stressed and you go for a run or a walk, you're not going to come back the same.
Yeah.
If you came back the same, then guess what? Go around a little harder, sweat it out.
Interesting. You put what we call a graveyard shift in. You've been in the industry for a while now. When did the journey start for you?
Oh, man. I mean, if my mother was around, she would have told you so my mother had put me in I don't even know what to call it. It's not the baby crib. It's one of those suspended cribs
the one
where you keep jumping.
Yeah. The thing is, if they're seeing us, the people walking past will just see us doing this.
Yeah. So I was bouncing since I was a child. And apparently that's the way she had kept me from, throwing a baby tantrum.
Yeah.
So I think it started there.
Okay.
And then I just started falling in love with sports in school. And at first it was football. Well, in North America, they call it soccer. It's not. It's football to me.
Come on.
It's football to me.
You saw that look I just gave you.
And the amount of times people were like, you mean football or football?
Yeah.
What football? So that, I started falling in love with sports then, and I just couldn't get enough. And I picked up basketball, and it was a wrap.
Right.
But then when I got to college, the bridge between fitness and sports, that's when it started, because in university, playing at that level, there are so many talented people, but they're athletically superior than what you know. Don't forget, I came out from this region.
Right.
Going to North America was a whole other universe. They were I like to say, I tell people, I'm like, if you've only seen the beasts I went to war with, you'll get it. So in my third year, I had transferred universities, and one of the American football coaches came and watched me in a summer run.
Okay.
And he asked, have you ever played football before?
Mm.
I was like, I played Madden.
Yeah.
He's like, good, so you could read a playbook.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, I'll teach you how to play football with your physical attributes. And I said, cool. I spent that summer training with him.
Okay.
And that's when my admiration to the sport of American football and the understanding of performance training really clicked. Because basketball players don't work out like that.
It's a different level of conditioning, huh?
Not just conditioning, plyometrics,
Yeah.
Olympic lifting. And
Programs.
then when I saw the results go from that summer, me training to try and play for the football team, and when I came back on a basketball court, I was a completely different athlete.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, this is it.
Yeah.
And I started playing around with these, forms of training, and I just went, okay, this makes sense now.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, if I really want to enjoy my sport, it's not about your touch or your skill, it's the ability to jump and run and fly. So yeah, that's when I think it
and that was just the first segment. We're going to take a quick break. We'll play you some T-Pain and Afrobeat, and we'll be right back after this. I'll see you in a bit.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. And today on the show, man, you know that first segment? He's laughing in the background. That first segment, we were just, kicking it. We forgot that the radio was on. We're just talking. And I got a chance to speak to I call him G, but it's Gaafar Elsouri. He's here on the show. We spoke about, his interpretation of fitness and well-being and how it started for him and why it started for him and what's going on. He mentioned American football, and he mentioned sports, and he mentioned the way he conditioned himself in all aspects. But I got to ask you, is basketball your sport, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why basketball? What is it about basketball?
Oh boy, that's a good question. So it was sports in general, if I am to say, when I fell in love with sports. And then obviously being in the region, football is the biggest sport, and that's how you make friends, and I liked it, and then I loved it. But then this one day I showed up to a basketball class. It was in PE, and I had an Egyptian coach. I don't know if he's alive or still on earth, but if he is or if he isn't, may God bless him. And he looked at me and he said, we're gonna go for basketball. I said, okay. And he's like, okay, you're fast, but you're really terrible.
Is that what he said?
I was 10 years old.
Well, how'd you react to that when someone tells you you're really fast but you're terrible?
Yeah, I cried. What you mean, how did I react? I just started crying.
We shouldn't be laughing, but it's one of those things. Because it's you. Okay.
I started crying. And he said, you're terrible. And I said, okay. And I went back home and I was crying.
Yeah.
I was like, what you crying about?
Yeah.
I said, apparently I'm really terrible at basketball.
Okay.
I was just like, well, you've never played basketball before.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a point to that coach. I'm going to be the best basketball player he's ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that I can actually still remember it.
You know what the thing is, when you say that, I've got all these visuals for those who are listening to you for the first time, and he's got a lot of followers, by the way. For those that are listening to him for the first time, if you see this guy training, or you see him in his element, or you see him practicing basketball, or even some of the stuff he does on a Swiss ball, I swear I'll break my neck. If I tried to attempt some of the things this guy's doing, and we'll put this in the show when you'll see some of the clips that he's doing, man, it's balance, it's plyometrics, it's stability, it's power, it's acceleration, it's deceleration. There's so many things there that only if you breathe fitness, you'll appreciate. So everyone now who's watching on the screen will be able to kind of cut back and see the man himself doing his thing. But there also seems to be a form of expression. I know people normally link escapism, but I actually think that basketball and you, there's a form of expression there.
It is.
Talk to me about that.
Okay, so most basketball players are tall.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay. Where are we at? Can we mention that on radio?
No.
I thought I'd throw it out there because when you see this guy jump.
I think I'm tall, okay? All right, that's all that matters to me. And it's just the way it's so. It just seems so. When you look at basketball players, they're really larger than life.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God, how these physical specimens, and they're really tall. And so to me, it was, what can I do that none of them can? And it has nothing to do with physicality. It's, I want to dominate a sport with sheer presence and power that you can feel it.
Yeah.
However, basketball is the most rhythmic sport ever. It's a dance. You need footwork, balance, agility. Like you're able to spin, jump, run all in one little second. Plus, the game is too fast. It's quick and fast. So people don't understand there's a difference between quickness and speed.
Yes.
And being fast. This one has both.
Right.
Plus, you move in all planes.
Yes.
It's not north-south, and it's not, you're in a transverse plane.
Yeah.
You are in so many different situations.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I doing with my body over here? It's just, that to me was so captivating. Like, wait, I can jump, twist, turn, and try and put that ball in a weird angle on the backboard? What? Okay. This is kind of really cool.
How powerful is visualization in executing those planes?
So, if you look at the majority of basketball players, and if they are married or dating someone or just around their friends, you're going to see a lot of them, they will do some weird stuff in their apartment.
We are live on national radio.
Where they will walk, let's say, by the refrigerator or a chair, and you find it sort of, and you go, hoop, hoop.
Yeah.
In your head, you just visualize the move for no reason. Like, I did that a couple of times at a gym, and people looked at me like, are you okay?
You do get, though, a couple of looks, and again, I swear I don't stalk him. You do get a couple of looks at the gym when you're performing your videos. I just think of it now, if I didn't know you, yeah? I was training, I'm feeling good about myself, I'm, coming into the gym, and then I see what you're doing. And then you do something there, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm just going to sit down. One thing before we take a quick break, how hard, because you mentioned earlier about playing abroad, playing here, how hard is it for someone of our origin to compete with the top level around the world?
We're light years behind.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if you've studied there and come back?
No, but there's not enough that they went and studied there.
Yeah.
And they might have competed for a bit, but the majority of the stories where they stopped at one point.
Right.
Over there.
Right.
And they changed their goals completely.
Interesting.
The ones that stayed are not enough. And if they did, they're still there.
Okay. That's interesting. I haven't thought of that.
And to me, it's, look, at the end of the day, we're at the basic level, we're all literally the same species. We're all humans.
Yeah.
But the way we approach things are way different than when it's approached over there. And that's what I think is the biggest gap.
Amazing. Right. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, though, we're diving into mental fitness. And it's big on the show here, but when I have G in this studio, man, I'm going to take advantage of that. We'll be right back. And we're also going to ask him, yes, Masoud, I hear you, what you're saying. We're also going to ask him, how does he reset? And hope you're having a special World Radio Day as well, everyone who's tuned in. Yes, we're going to be celebrating World Radio Day, and who better than having G here on the show? We'll be right back. Here's some Lotto Boys.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. No pun intended on not a player no more here, because we have a basketball player here in the studio. G, sorry. I'm telling you, we have too much fun here on the show, man. When you have great people like this, you just have to enjoy it. And thank you, by the way. It's World Radio Day today. Thank you for everyone who left comments and shared the 500th episode that we had on the show. It was amazing to see. And I meant every word I said, by the way, with all those people that tune in, whether it's Masoud from India or Florin from the US or Dino from Egypt or Halat from Saudi, and all these people that are regulars or the biggest fan. And the most important one, my mum, Fatima Akil, who's always jumping on the Pulse95Radio.com website. Yes, that's a plug for Pulse95 Radio, and saying, I have to catch every show. So, Mom, I love you and thank you very much. And Khalo, of course, her brother, who's sitting next to her going, yeah, we're going to watch this again. Thank you very much for tuning in. G is on the show today, man.
Bro, you deserve all your flowers, bro.
Thank you, man. It's been great, and having you on the show has been fantastic. Fantastic. One question here that came in from Masoud, who is our regular listener. He said, here it is, most of the time we focus on our physical well-being. So how important is it to have a good emotional and mental health in fitness?
Okay. Great question. When you say your physical well-being, though, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And go, is it your aesthetics? Because if that's one thing that you say you're focusing on, which is, do I look great? I think that's when you are dissociating your physical aspect from your spiritual, psychological well-being. Yeah! So a lot of people look great, especially now with the emergence of social media, Instagram becoming what it is right now. But a lot of people that look great, I've got to know that they're not really doing well on the inside. There's they deprive themselves from a lot of things. Their self-worth sort of becomes, how do I look? And that to me is a very dangerous zone to be in for a very long period of time. People, I put this in a lot of my posts, in my captions. If you move well and you're enjoying being active or playing a sport or just, enjoying movement, your aesthetics is a byproduct of how well you move. I've never seen a terrible looking athlete, but I've seen people off or in their off season of bodybuilding or certain physique competitions that didn't look as great as they want to look, or to them it's a huge step down. So for me, Masoud, it's your physical well-being is a reflection of what goes internally. Always. A lot of people miss that point where if you're enjoying what your body is capable of and you're truly, truly, truly grateful for your health and every joint and ligament in your body will reflect it on the outside. You will look great. But it all starts inwards. So for me, the focus on, you're all three. You're not one and or the other. You're literally a collection of all of that. And they all complement each other. So sometimes, let's say you're mentally a little down or you're going through a rough patch. You catch your breath by going to move a little bit more. And then you move a little bit more. And at one point, sure, you touched on that earlier, when it becomes a little bit of escapism. But it kind of rewires your brain in a way where that escape becomes a challenge, and that challenge becomes a mental exercise for you to keep going. And a lot of times, some of your best thoughts come out when you are in movement. Because, again, movement and exercise are two different things here, just to highlight that. So when you are moving or you're concentrating on a complex movement, you're literally in the here and the now. You're not drifting apart with your thoughts. So you're kind of very present.
So that's interesting you say that. So let's dive into that even more. So when you want to physically look good
Mm-hmm.
through performance or through aesthetics, you go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
But when you want to mentally get fit, where'd you go?
Same, but I switched the way I approach it.
Is it a byproduct of the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
I switch it. I switch the way I approach it. So, yes, I could come out with a really amazing program for me to look a certain way.
Yeah.
But then I'll use something like that I'm not used to, which is a recreational run.
Mm.
And in that recreational run, it stops being a recreational run. It goes into sprints and sort of flirting with death for a second.
Mm-mm.
And you kind of go, okay, I was able to do that. Okay, well, if I'm able to do that in that state, what's stopping me from doing 1, 2, and 3 in other aspects of my life?
Mm.
That is one approach for me. The other approach for me is I go nowhere. I sit with it.
Quiet?
Not necessarily. My head will be chaotic. There'd be a lot of noise.
Okay.
But I want to sit with it instead of escaping away from it.
What kind of noise?
Whatever it is that I'm feeling, whether it, from an emotional aspect, let's call noise, a little bit of the noise of your emotional state.
Right.
Whether it's sadness, grief, anger, maybe even disappointment, you name it, shame. I try and sit with it as much as I can. And sometimes it swallows you up. It's not great. And it could drag for a limited period of time. But now I'm getting to the point where I know that that's going to pass too.
Mm.
But I want to see it through.
Right.
So I'm no longer going to be like, oh, I can't feel that way. I don't want to feel that way. No. You know what? We're in panic mode. You know what we're going to do today? We're going to sit down here. We're going to panic about every freaking thing that comes into mind. And I will panic.
Mm.
Oh, we're sad today. Okay, listen. Eventually you start seeing that those thoughts or emotions are really visitors that are coming through. And if you keep resisting, like in training, they become stronger.
Mm.
But now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, we're just going to sit here. And I'm going to literally be sad. Let's say it's sadness. I'm going to be sad about a whole bunch of things. After you go through that exercise for a second, you're like, I'm not feeling as sad as I was earlier. Okay, it's a lot less now. And since it is, you start now developing the upside of it. You're going, okay, well, that wasn't that bad. I'm sad about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you feel all of them. They sort of go away. And you're like, yeah, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And you keep going. And you're like, oh, it balances it out.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like you mastered the fight or flight and you've added the freeze. And you're able to kind of ride that way.
I kind of lived in fight or flight response.
There you go.
Very long.
Okay, you know what? I'm getting carried away here. We're going to take a quick break because we've got the Asr prayer coming up. But before that, we're going to play a quick track, take a quick break. And then when we get back, we're diving straight into it. So don't go anywhere, folks. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. You know what? I'm so disappointed it's full time, man, on the Halftime Show. It's been great having the man Gaafar Elsouri here on the show, man. You know what? Amongst a lot of things, some of you might already know about him, some might not know already about him. He's obviously studying psychology, being a basketball player, being an ambassador, an athlete. Shout out to Nike as well. A professional who has faced many challenges in his lifetime, dedicating life to being positive, being real, and also doing what he does best. It's great to have him here on the show. And we had some great questions for him during the break, and I promised you guys that I would ask him. So that's what I'm going to do. The question came from Sappho here, which said, how do I stay motivated to work out as I lose consistency and keep falling back to sedentary lifestyle? Please share tips to stay fit and stay consistent with fitness. Thanks. Nice talk and a great show.
Well, thank you for listening, first and foremost. I appreciate that, truly. I'm gonna go the route that is, or the road less traveled to answer this question. If I am to tell someone that motivation is actually a very external thing, it's very fickle. It doesn't last very long. So if I'm to compare it between or to make it look like anything that you might be aware of. It's like happiness. Happiness comes and goes. So I would ask you to first go deeper and develop a drive. Now, a drive comes from within. It's from a want. It's out of a place of love with no resistance. So for you, let's say, here we go, you're gonna love yourself and love the body that you have and love, let's say, a sport or a physical activity. I suggest you carry that love with you and go for everything that will make that journey for you easier. You will not have any resistance. But if you're gonna wait to the moment that you're actually motivated and you feel great and you didn't work as much and, stress is low, that moment, I mean, it's very hard to come by, I think, in our daily life. So I would suggest that you find that want. What do you want to do with your body? What do you want to achieve with yourself, with the gifts that you have been given, with the health that you have been blessed with? That's what I would say would be my only tip for you, is to switch the thought process from waiting to be motivated to creating your own drive. And that's when you become a creator, and your wants will always outweigh or are significantly stronger than your need. So you're not working out from a need perspective. I need to work out. I need to lose weight. I need to diet. No, I want to do this. Okay, I want to run a marathon. I want to run a half a marathon. I want to play with my kids. I want to play football or basketball. That want will literally reshape the entire way you approach this thing. And you're going to accept all the challenges that come with it with an open heart.
I like that. Big.
I sounded smart for a second.
Big. For a second. About 53 minutes. Man, before I let you go, where can we follow you? The listeners today have tuned in for the first time and got a chance to listen to you and hear your great show and your episode. Where can we follow you?
On Instagram, it's g.elsouri1. That's pretty much it for the time being.
Yeah.
That's really...
Is that where you're active most?
That's what I've taken a few weeks off for the past 3 to 4 weeks. I'm getting back into it, starting with, your repost. That was my back to the gram moment. Other than that, it's, if there's anything that I could convey to you or that you've heard on the show, you'll read more about it in a lot of my captions, actually, in whether it's reels or posts.
Great. And what's next for you? I know you're playing semi-pro ball at the moment.
It's a league.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's semi. I don't know if it's semi-pro, but it's a league. It's a really good league.
Yeah. How is that going for you? And you want to shout out your team?
Shout out to the league.
Okay.
SBAA.
Yeah.
Shout out to my team as well, NY Elite, and
Yeah.
in what we call 35 plus league as well.
Okay. Yeah, you said that earlier.
Can't believe I'm playing that. So shout out to both to the organizing league behind it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a really good community. You'll have players from all levels, trying to come and just share their love for the sport.
And anything coming up for you in terms of like your goals, your ambitions, stuff that you're trying to tackle? Because I know you just, by the way, you were talking off air as well, like you set goals and you set challenges and your whys and your wants and what you want to do. Is anything coming up for you?
I'm trying to get to learn myself actually a little bit better. I'm like, to be honest with you, it's a very internal journey that I've been going on, that I've been on for a couple of months now, and that's literally it's probably my favorite thing right now that I'm working on.
Amazing.
Is how do I debunk a lot of things that have made me who I am today, and come up with who am I really, and how do I want to be for the foreseeable future. So that's where I'm at.
Big. It's big. And you know what? As the great man himself says, that was another one. That is full time on the Halftime Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you do want to catch a show, you can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 to 4 UAE time. And if you do miss the show, don't worry. We've also got podcasts available on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud. Or if you prefer a visual, head over to our YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio, and you get a chance to see this man here on the show thanks to Super Mario. You've been fantastic, bro.
I'd like to shout out you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm truly humbled and I'm honored, for real. This has been, one of those moments where I'm completely grateful for all that you do and who are you as a person. What people don't know, actually, Omar is one of the few people that when I go quiet, he checks on me. And I hope that now that, we're not in front of a lot of people physically, but we are, I guess, on social media and on the radio. So if you want to know the kind of character and the man that is giving this show to you, he actually cares about people. So thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I'm truly humbled and honored.
Appreciate you. What a way to end the show, man. Let's bring him back. Let's bring him back. Guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you too. That's a fantastic end to the show. And we will be seeing you same time, same place on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.